Good afternoon to all the participants. The world is full of diamonds and gems, and we are having all of them here today to build this event. I am Tulika Chaudhary from Amity Innovation Incubator and would like to give my heartiest welcome to all present here. During the last 50 years, the number and the scope of women-owned businesses have risen at a virtually unprecedented rate. The historic expansion is due to the efforts of the courageous women who have been willing to take the leap and become entrepreneurs, at times capitalizing on groundbreaking legislation specifically related to equality. Today, women are starting and growing their own businesses at record rates. They own nearly 13 million businesses, employ nearly 9.2 million people, and generate $1.9 trillion in annual revenues. Their stories reveal expanding educational and entrepreneurial opportunities for the young girls and women goes beyond simply supporting gender equality. It is also about creating brand new pathways for women to lead and contribute to the economy and society. I would like to welcome Zia ma'am. Yes, she's just on the way. The current chairperson, CII, Indian Women's Network, and all respected team members of CII, Indian Women's Network, an institution which has been doing commendable work to uplift and promote initiative by women entrepreneurs all around. We extend you all a warm welcome. The most awaited, now I would like to welcome Divya Chauhan ma'am, from former chairperson of CII-IWN and current chairperson of Amity School of Fine Arts, Fashion Technologies and Performing Arts. These institutions are part of Amity Education Group, having over 2 lakh students across 400 programs and campuses in 15 countries. We are glad to have you, our amazing and beloved Divya ma'am among us, and I hope that you all will benefit from her knowledge. Ma'am, you please welcome. Please welcome me in joining her.
Thank you so much. Can I take this out? I'm more comfortable this way. Thank you so much. Firstly, apologies for all of you waiting patiently and still smiling. It shows this is the power of women, that you can still smile and move ahead positively. Thank you very much for being here. This event was put together thinking of what is currently happening in the world and in India especially. You all see the ecosystem of the startups. There is so much happening. And I said, how do we avail the opportunity for ourselves? A lot of you are here, experienced entrepreneurs or have your own startups, are doing really well. Thank you for coming here, and I'm glad some of you are going to share your experience later on. I think that was the reason that we put this event together. And thank you for being here, all of you. And we then thought that why not invite the IWN women of CII also, because they also want to learn. We all want to learn what is happening in this ecosystem. So that was the reason that we put this event together. And what better venue than the Amity Innovation Incubator? Ojas, can I have you and the team here up quickly? I want to thank them because they've really been trying to plan this for us. Ojas, Vijayji, Tulika, Sahil, all of them have really been working on this. And thank you to the whole team. Ojas, thank you very much. Why I say this is the best venue to do this is because you're in a world of education right now. You're part of a university. I don't know whether you drove around it. I feel very excited when I come to the university because I see all these youngsters walking around, everybody in a different mode. And I always feel very young and happy and rejuvenated when I come to the university. And the Innovation Incubator is doing a lot of good work. I think they have incubated around 650 companies, if I'm right. That is great, Ojas. It's amazing that they have actually, incubated 650 companies, some of them very successful. Some of you are probably here who know the journey, how it works. So congratulations, Ojas. I'm very glad that we could be here and you could put this together for us. My husband's the founder, Dr. Asim Chauhan, for the Incubation Innovation Incubator. Of course, my father-in-law is the founder of the university, Dr. Ashok Chauhan. We're very grateful to him that we have this university as well. But I just want to say, who is better than doing this event for us than Dr. Aparajita? I was just talking to her outside. She's currently the director at PwC. She has a very huge biodata. I cannot read it out. I already told her that. But what's very exciting is that she has been in many exciting companies before. But more than that, she has had her own ventures. And I think that makes it very exciting coming from a tech background, right? Am I right, Dr. Prajita? She's studied in Bangalore, if I'm not wrong. And coming from a tech background and then becoming an entrepreneur and to make it successful. A lot of us can be entrepreneurs, but to make it successful and to make it run longer is what we want. I hope we're all on the same page. I think we all want something that is not only successful, but result-oriented at the end of it. So, Dr. Prajita, thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. I'm not going to keep you long from the audience. I want you to connect with them and speak with them and give them... Also, she's a life coach, which is very exciting to know. So maybe you can give us some gyan on that as well. It'll be very nice. Do please join us, Dr. Aparajita. We are also joined by Zia, but she has not reached yet, so maybe later on I will introduce her. But thank you, Ojas, to the whole team, and thank you all for coming. Over to Aprajita.
Thanks, Divya. That was wonderful. Very warm and very wonderful. Thank you. Thanks so much. And thanks to the entire team for organizing this. I cannot share my joy more than echoing what you were saying. The moment we enter these campuses, there's a very different kind of positive energy. And I was telling this to Vijay as well, the moment I entered and we were about to begin. And it reflects in everything from the bright colors to the energies, from the, those encouraging faces, those aspirations on your face. So it just builds me up as well. Wow, there's so much enthusiasm in the world. Many a times when we feel that, hey, we are stuck, and then look at your faces, it's like, wow, they have so many dreams. We can again do something. So that's to the power to the campuses. And if in that campus we have something as interesting as an innovation center, that's like Sone Pe Suhaga, as we call that, right? So thank you everyone for creating such a space, for creating such a warm incubator in the real sense, and incubating, like you was mentioning, around 650 of them. I know some of them very closely, some of them who are very dear friend of mine, some of them whom I know the ideas quite well. So this is an amazing place, and I love coming back here again and again. So thank you for having me here. Now, Bob, I'm not somebody who would stick here. I do have a presentation for you all. We will walk through it in the moments to come. But just to reiterate, as Divya was talking about, since I started my journey from established player, I started my career from, and just before that, I'll tell you one very interesting fact why Amity is special to me. Almost around 25 years ago, that's when I did my college, yeah. So at that part of time, while trying to apply for my graduation in Bangalore University, I did apply to Amity as well. Oh, wow. But at that point, I think biotech was something which was just in Amity, and down south Bangalore was more established for that those things. So where destiny led me. But trust me, Amity always calls me back. So it's like, and every time I go back and tell my mom, who is a retired professor, that, hey, I was at Amity. So yes, that's my association with the campus here. And that's where I love coming here again. So, coming back to my point, what I was trying to relate to you guys were like, I started or learned my background from established players, tried those on funded startups, started on my own and made it successful, still going on. I have my stakes and it's on an autopilot mode. Back to the corporate, leading a very entrepreneurial team at Big Four. So seeing different sides of the game, that's where first I understand the challenges. Second, I also see what are the potential or possibilities where we can do. Also, being on board of some of these funding or granting agencies, whether it is DBT, Department of Biotech, or BIRAC and others, where they evaluate the proposals that's come across. So I also can help you understand from the parameters what makes things work when you apply for a grant or you try to run a successful venture. It's like, you guys may be great at innovation, great product, great ideas, great service line. But trust me, that's like a love affair, and running the business is like running a marriage. There are differences to it. For a business to run, it has to have a business acumen. It needs a market. It needs your clients and customer. And we would talk about all those in the slides to come, and how we would cross this journey from an innovator to an entrepreneur. That's the entire concept, that's the entire thing that we would be talking about in next 1 hour or something. So what I have with you guys today is decoding business model canvas. No jazzy word, but a simple sa cheez hai. This is what we call as the pitch deck, or our project plan or proposal, as we would be talking about. And again, this is nothing something which is some rocket science. Iska bhi ek way hai. We have the different components, what all to be included in your pitch deck, what all has to be there in your business proposal. What are those 8 segments that we would carry about, how to build those up, and what can make it work. So, we would go into all of these one by one. Do we need a mic, or am I audible this way? Ah, okay. See, here comes our tech expert, tech genie. So I'll skip the slide. You know me well by now. Okay. So, and this tech genie has given me another smart thing right now, that I can change the slides from the mobile. So yeah, instead of those age-old ways of doing things. That's the power of being here. So now, when we talk about a business plan or a business canvas or a model, what exactly is it and why do we need it? So I have the slides for the PPT. I would use it just as a yardstick so that I cover it all. But my idea is I will do more so of a talking kind of a model, and we'll take all the questions towards the end. So what is a business plan? Anyone wants to share, talk? Slide nahi dekh aise. What does it come to your mind when you talk about, when you hear the word a business plan? Okay.
Something that will make money from?
True. Not just from the money perspective, I would say it's like the constitution for a country to run. It's like a blueprint. It's the idea, it's the blueprint. Whenever we are building something, some foundation, some structure, some building, we have a rough drawing of it. It serves 2 purposes. One, definitely we can pitch it to our investor, we can show it to our clients. Second, and very important, the moment you start doubting what and how it is going, look at the deck. This was my idea, this was my vision, this was my plan, this is where I started. Yeah, please.
The roadmap.
Absolutely, the roadmap. Because what happens as an entrepreneur, we are pulled in so many directions. आज ये आ रहा है, आज वो आ रहा है, आज पहले इसको handle करते हैं. We get lost, and we tend to get into what I call it a ginger growth. Adrak की तरह, we start getting into all the directions, right? So this business plan keeps us intact or brings us back to the point where we can grow in the direction where we want to grow instead of getting lost. So this serves 2 purposes. And a very important point, if you would see, it's a written document. And I always emphasize onto the word of a written document. Otherwise, what happens is, like, we have a number of ideas in our head. आज तो सुबह मैं walk पे जाने ही वाली थी, but कुछ हो गया. That was my idea, that was my dream, that was my aspiration. But the moment we write it down, there is a strong conviction. There is a strong way of commitment to it that, hey, it takes a lot of guts to write something out. So the moment we put it across on a pen and a paper, document, PPT or anything, from an idea or a dream in your head, it becomes a plan. That is the power of writing it down. And then definitely you have it handy to pitch it to your investor, to your client, to your customers and others. That's right. So a business plan is basically a written document which describes the nature of your business, your product detail, life cycle of product and services, sales and marketing strategy, competitor and challenges, and financial projection. So all these things coming together would make your business plan. We would talk about each in detail. I would just like to emphasize on one parameter where you would say that, hey, this is my business plan, then why are we talking about competitors? So I'll just touch base on that before we get into further. Competitors, it's like, it's a necessary evil. Competition, like, there's an ad which says daag achhe hain. I tell it competition achhe hain. What happens the moment you say there are competitors in the field, that means your idea is already bought in by the market. You don't have to go and educate your client or customer ki ye bhi kar sakte hain. They already know ki this is needed, this is required. So half your battle is won. You don't have to create that space. All you need to do is be better than your competitors and grab that market share. That's it. So that is the power of identifying your competitors and see how you can take away that pie from them. So you have to identify, say for example, very lame example, but still, say for example, if as a business person, if I'm running an incubation center, I should know what are the players, what is my performance indicators, how I can be better than others so that people come here with the best of ideas, right? So I need to know the players in my space to make myself better, right? So that's where we need to identify and know our competitors as well. Now, as we understand that, we have to make a business plan, we have to put it on a document. Why? Now it serves two purposes. Business, as we say, can never be done in isolation. It cannot be that I sit in a corner in my world, not interact anyone, whether in person or virtually, and say mera business chal jayega. It would never happen. You need to go out, meet people, find a balance between what we call as the market participant trio. And this trio is your client and customer, most important, jahan se aapko business milega. Your investor, jahan se aapko funding milegi, paise milenge. And third, many a times we ignore the third aspect, who are our producers or the supply chain person. Say for example, मुझे client भी मिल गया, मुझे investor भी मिल गया, मेरे पास पैसे आ गए, client ने मुझे order दे दिया, मैंने commit कर दिया, मैं 30 days में आपको बना के product दे रही हूँ. What if my supplier, producer, ingredient देने वाले are not on great terms with me? If they don't collaborate with me, will I be able to deliver my order? No. So they also have a lot of bargaining power. And we work on them on a lot of credit and buying policy कि मैं आपको 30 days बाद पैसे दूंगी, मैं अपने client से 20 days में लेती हूँ, वो margin, we will talk about it, how to keep the cash flow growing. So we have to understand and balance ourselves between these three players. The client customer, उन्हें खुश करके रखना है, उनसे market से orders ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लाने हैं. Investor, for him, see, there is nothing known as charity or putting money, right? To make money out of money is his business. As an investor, I have stakes in a lot of companies and a lot of startups. So the moment I am wearing an investor hat, I want to say, hey, मेरे पैसे और कितने पैसे बना रहे हैं? Am I getting 12% return, 14%, 20%, 50%, 60%? What is the return I am getting? 4-6% तो FDs पे मिल जाते हैं. फिर मैं आपको startup में क्यों दूँ? As simple as that. I need to get more out of it. If there is risk, then I need to have more benefits as well. So managing an investor is again a different ballgame. And producer, there are ways to handle it. So all these, it's like a fine balance. वो रस्सी होती है ना जिस पे संभल के चलते हैं. It is even tough. उसमें तो 2 ही side balance कर रहे हैं, यहाँ तो 3 side balance करना है. Right? So this would also, your business plan would also help you keep a check and bolt or a balance on managing the market participant tribe. Now we understood about, this is just reiterating what we talked about. We understood that the business plan helps us define our business, understand the market, define our product, outline the go-to-market strategy, create an operating plan, financial projection, and the pitfalls. Now, we all agreed that this is required, a pitch deck or a business plan is required. The very first question now comes is, how to create it? Hey, I am an innovator, मुझे अपने product के बारे में पता है, मैं कैसे बनाऊं? So let's see how to create a business plan. And like you were saying, yes, it is a roadmap. It is a roadmap with the milestones. This is exactly what it is. And when we say that a business plan is a roadmap, and in the beginning also I was saying that there are 8 components to it. And while creating it, we would talk about all these 8 components. And in detail, we'll talk about each one of them. So what are these 8 components, right? They are your executive summary, your company description, your product and services segment, your marketing plan, your operational plan, your management and organization, your startup expense and capitalization, and the financial plan. These are the 8 components or segments that we build when we try doing our business plan or the pitch deck as we call. Normally, I would suggest that these should not be more than 20 slides. That's also on the higher side, trust me. Nobody reads a very bulky deck. As an investor, if you give me, I get maybe around 50 of these decks on a daily basis. Will I read them? No. So it's no point building a very heavy 50 sliders. It's not utilized. You have to be very crisp and precise. Most of the time, every investor, they have their own chosen few niche areas where they like to invest. Say for example, if I come from a life sciences background or a biotech, life sciences, IT and edutech side, I understand that segment, how it is working. So I would invest in those companies who play in it. Maybe it's an edutech firm, maybe it's a medtech firm. I may not have an acumen of a fintech, so I would not get into it क्योंकि मुझे उसके nuances नहीं समझ आएंगे. Similarly, every player, every investor has 2, 3, 4, whatever is their expertise area or understanding segment, they play in that segment. So, to catch hold of that attention span, you have to build the first segment of it, which is the executive summary. Executive summary need not be, like I say, it's an executive summary. 1.5 slides, not more than that. Just 1.5 slide, you have to grab attention of your reader. If I find this topic, this idea is interesting to me, then I have the entire deck to follow it up. So executive summary would have a brief explanation of the business idea. The moment I say business idea, it's like a storytelling. It's like for whatever work you're doing, whatever product you're building, whatever solutions you're giving, either it would be into the product side or the services side. Whatever product you're building, whatever services you're giving, it would be solving some or the other problem. The problem may not be a rocket science, but कोई ना कोई problem को ही solve करा. That problem could be as simple as making your life easier, making it less expensive, making it time sensitive, whatever it is solving some or the other problem. So the moment we start building that story, it's like, hey, this is how big a problem is. This is how it is involving this much amount of revenue size is being impacted. But don't worry, I have a solution for you. That's how we build the story. इतना बड़ा problem है, इतने revenue impact हो रहे हैं, इतना time impact हो रहा है. But here I am to be your genie and give a solution to things. And this is my product or services that would help you minimize that. So that's the first paragraph where we would talk about the entire, the concept or the universe of problem that the world is facing and what is our solution. Then we would quickly also talk about what is our target audience or target market. Because there are different lanes for everything. See, for example, as simple as shoes. We can get a shoe for 400 rupees also, for 4,000 as well. Which lane, which target segment, which client area you are looking into. Service range. There are services for the same consulting firm. There are boutique consulting firm which offers, then there are big four like PwC which offers things at a different rates. So which lane, which client segment, which revenue size you are looking into. Talk about that target market, because that market and its market size would lead to your potential revenue outcome. So talk about it, where is your target market. Also briefly talk about who all are in the core team, the founder team. It builds the credibility of your idea. It builds how strong is your core team. And we would talk about the team composition later, but I would just give you a brief. As an investor, I would not bank on a single founder company. With no offense to any one person, but guys, it's serious business. If I am putting money as an investor, God forbid something happens to you, or as a founder something happens to me, that's okay, I have full sympathy for that, but what about my money? It's all about business, it's all about revenues. So firstly, to diversify or dilute that risk, multiple stakeholders are preferred. Secondly, today you can run the entire company on your own. You can do everything from your investor connect to market supplies to delivering the order, everything. But tomorrow when we grow, you may not be able to handle it all. It's like a PMO, right? You have different portfolio, you have different ministries aligned to you. The Prime Minister can keep, the finance ministry, home ministry, everything at some point, but there are different ministries. Which, say for example, I have the marketing department, I have the HR department, I have the legal department, I have the investor relations. Today I can handle it all, but always remember they are different departments. Tomorrow when we grow, we need to segregate them. So that's also a place, say for example, if you are into a tech business, if you don't have somebody who understands technology, how would you do it? How would I trust that you would be able to handle everything from a technical perspective? So that's another point for your core team, that a mix of 2 or 3 core founders is always more preferred than a single founder. I'm not saying a single person may not do it. At an ideation stage, definitely you can try. But as you grow, as you try to raise funds, it is preferred to have multiple people in your core team. The second, that was the first bit about your executive summary. That's where we were talking about, executive summary and what all we would include in that 1.5 slides. The second part is about the company description. एक slide काफी है. In that one slide, it's like a lot of factual data, not much to play around here, nothing jazzy. It would have your details of the company, name, registration, whether you have some IP, what kind of a company is it, whether it is a private limited, sole proprietorship, LLP, what is the legal status of your company? Do you have some IP done, IPR, intellectual property rights, some trademark and things like that. So all those things in this one slide, it would talk about your mission, vision, goals, which industry, which sub-segment, all, it's like the nameplate, your address book, all in one place. All the factual things, not much to play around here. Third segment, that's where we have already built an interest that, hey, this is our summary, this is the details of a company. Now is the time to talk about, at length, about all our product and services. And when I say all the product and services, as a startup, we may start with one product or service, but we may have that plan that, at a subsequent stage, I would grow this, I would get into this, I would get into this. So let's talk about all the product and services that we have or we plan to have under our umbrella. So we would talk about that. Again, definitely, what is the problem that the product or services solve? Now, like I was saying, that it need not be a rocket science. If you look at this picture, very simple. हर रोज हम लोग मोबाइल चार्ज करते हैं या 2 दिन पे जिसकी बैटरी ज़्यादा चलती है और जिसकी कम चलती है दिन में 2 बार, right? We all charge our mobiles on a daily basis. But can you see this mobile holder? Very simple सा एक plastic का चीज. This is also a product very much needed. Makes life easier. लंबे वायर से रोज फंसते, छोटे वायर से पहुंचते नहीं है, right? So this is a product which has been put on the charger, and you can charge your mobile very easily by keeping onto it. Now, even this is solving a problem. It's making your life easy. Simple picture to give an impact, but can you imagine the magnitude of market size this would have? Everyone would need it. So that's where we would talk about the problem that the product or service is solving. In this segment, we would talk about the problem that the product or service is solving. Second, if you look at the other picture, here we would also talk about what is our competitive advantage or USP. USP as the unique selling proposition. Like I said, having the competition is good. Market is already aware, or there is a need of that product or service in the market. All you need to show is how you are better than the rest of the players in the market. What is your USP? What is your unique selling proposition? It could be you are less expensive. It could be you are easily accessible. It could be your turnaround time is less. It could be after sales or service is great. You know, if you get into the automobile industry, why is Maruti still the largest player in Indian territory? After sales service is amazing. It's the ad says that, you know, even mountain mein chale jao, network aaye ya na jaye, Maruti service station milega. That makes the life of a car user much easy, right? So your USP could be anything. It does not end just at selling your product. Even after sales is important. The turnaround time. There are times, again I'm taking example from the automobile industry. There are cars जिनकी waiting ही 8, 9, 10 months चल रही होती है. You may not be willing to wait for that long. So again, that could also be the USP that, hey, if you book it today, I'll deliver it tomorrow. Or that's the turnaround time. Or it's like, I'll get it delivered at your doorstep. Why are e-commerce sites doing great? Right? So your USP could be anything. Or you could come up with a bucketed product that, you know, these two things are clubbed together. Or the value added services, or VAS as we call them. If you take this service, this is complementary, goes very well into the skincare industries. You know, this cosmetic, this product, this is great with it. So, you know, every industry has some or the other way of building that. Also, in this segment, we would talk about our product or service pricing. This is very important because यहाँ से ही क्यों लेकर मेरी एक product का, मेरी एक service का क्या charges है? That's where what would help us build our financial projections, which we would talk about in the later slides. So mention all those. What all are your product and services? What is the problem that is solving? What is your USP? And what is the product pricing? Everything in this segment we would talk about. Now we have talked about our products and services. Now product तो हमने बता दिया. Next, product को market कैसे करेंगे? That is what is of our interest next. So in the next segment, we would talk about our marketing plan. To build the marketing plan, first we need to understand gauge the market size, the market undercurrents, the market which is there, which we would help. To do that, we would talk about some of the market research methods and how to build that and imbibe those things to our marketing plans. Now, market research, as we say, you know, most of you would be knowing, or the business research, or you know, the secondary research, primary research, as we do, to understand or be in the shoes of the client and customer, to get to understand what is it that they would need, who all are our target audience. So whatever product or service your you know, startup or your idea is talking about, you would always be directly, indirectly, even if it is a very niche area, you would be resonating with some or the other industry per se. Now, we getting on to the industry size. If I know I belong to a FMCG market or fintech market, I would always get to know what is the size of that industry. ये किसी भी authentic source से government website से we can get the market size. And what is the growth rate or the CAGR as we call that, compounded annual growth rate. Why is it important? Because the industry would be growing at a certain rate. As a startup, and numbers, growth rate, statistics is a very different ballgame. Say for example, if the industry, my industry is growing at a CAGR or compounded annual growth rate of 6.8%. Industry is established hai. So for it to grow on a 6.8% is a different thing when I am starting from zero or as a startup, right? मेरा तो वो growth एक दिन में एक sale से दो sale हुआ तो 100% हो जाएगा, double हो गया, right? So to match that, we need to see the industry. Say for example, if an industry is growing at 6.8%, I need to be at 15% at least. That's where slowly I would match myself with the growing rate of that industry. Secondly, it would also help us understand what are the undercurrents or the trends in that industry. The moment we see trends in that industry, what I mean is whether it is a growing industry or a shrinking industry. We all saw in the last 2 years during the pandemic, there were some industries which were doing exceptionally well, right? E-commerce industry, edutech industry, and a lot of startups, they could ride the tide. Even if their product were not the finished version, a lot of e-commerce industries, because market all of a sudden itna expand kar gaya, कि even if my product or service or the version is not the most updated, there is so much, so everyone wanted to order online. There was enough, it was a blue ocean, there was enough for every player to eat. So all those startup guys, they could ride the tide. And to ride the tide, that's where we need to understand the trends in the, or the undercurrents in the industry. Whether it was fintech, e-commerce, edutech, they were booming. Contrary to that, the industries like hospitality and others, they were shrinking. A lot of players, I worked onto a project where startup, we were building, help them build their pitch deck and things like that. They were amazing way to connect the dhabas on the NH. Amazing idea. Zomato है, Swiggy है, but dhabas पे NH पे कुछ भी नहीं था, एकदम unseen territory. And this I'm talking about 2.5 years ago. Enough potential, we were on final rounds of talk with fundraising and things. Paused. Even if it is the best product in the market, there's no taker, कोई market ही नहीं है, वो industry ही रुक गई. So the industry size was shrinking. So that was not the best time to get into it. So we need to see the undercurrent, what's happening in our industry as well, that also impacts our chances of success and failure. Grow कर रहा है, ride the tide. Shrink कर रहा है या pause state में, wait for the better times. Or club it with some other product or services which could help you sustain those phases. So that's first bit, that's to understand your industry. Then what is the target market size? Now if I say this is my industry, at the very first go, मैं पूरी दुनिया में तो नहीं खेल रही हूँ as a startup. I need to identify which is my target market. If I am working or looking into the target segment of NCR, UP side, North India, what is my target? Or my product is, say for example, my clients is like, which age group? Oh, am I targeting the young females, 20 to 30 years? Or is it for the old generation? So who is our target market? Also, is that target market growing or shrinking? Normally, university areas में अगर हम लोग जाते हैं, we would see a lot of those Xerox machine, girls hostel side जाएंगे, there would be a lot of parlors, you know, with no biases, but they are very smart, they know where the target audience is. Or say for example, these days into a lot of those corporate hubs, we see daycare centers popping up. Because we know every female is working, we would need a daycare center. So you need to identify the target or the trends in your target market. Say for example, if my product or service or the geography I'm applying is for senior citizens, ठीक है, अभी तो अच्छा चल रहा है. Down the line, will that population still be there? या जिस segment में मैं देख रही हूँ, जिस geography में, वहाँ पे after 10 years when that population is no more, so say for example 60-70 years के बाद if it is just 30 or 40 years of population, then that senior citizen population would not be there. So after 10 years there would be a dip in my customers. So see what is the trend in your target market. That's equally important. Then look at who all are the players in your market, in your segment, in your territory. And then do a man on man marking. Say for example, look into, what I personally do is, say for example, entire pie 100% market share. Competitors अच्छे वाले formula पे आते हैं, 100% market share बांट देती हूँ. There would be 7-8 players who are the leading players. Club all others in the rest of them. उतनी energy नहीं है कि छोटे छोटे में लगाएं. Now for those bigger players, say for example somebody who is having a market share of 20%, 17%, 18%, उनसे 1-2% ले आना market share is easy for me. Let's build or grab those as the first stickers. उनकी USP समझिए. Okay, on the ground, that's what the MRs did. On the ground, इनके लोग ज़्यादा हैं. They have a good connect with the customer. They have a personal touch with people. Okay, now to handle this competitor, I need to have this strategy. To handle, अच्छा इनका IT team बहुत strong है, इनकी digital marketing बहुत strong है, इनसे 2% market share लेने के लिए मुझे ये वाली strategy लगा. All those things, unless we have it mapped down, how we would build our marketing plan. So all those market research, business research, industry trends, why are we doing this? So that we incorporate these factors while building a marketing plan. And marketing plan again could be based on your product service, how you are trying to expand, who is your end target. Say for example, a lot of these days things are very easy with digital marketing mediums, but then again we need to find where our target audience sits. The youth these days, even with the digital marketing, youth these days is nowhere on Facebook. सब Insta पे चले गए. Correct? मौसी, फुआ, फूफा, चाचा, नाना सब Facebook पे आ गए, so the youth has gone to Insta. That is the reality. So if I am targeting the youth, I need to know which social platform I can find them, or which are the groups I can find them. If it is some serious kind of a business, fintech or something, I'll go to a LinkedIn. If it is about selling across something to the youth, I'll go to an Insta. It's about something which I can, and with no biases. In business terms, we need to face the hard realities without getting into the biases. You would see a lot of times, those ads which come across, they play with the psychology. एक छोटा सा ad आता है, some oil का, I'm forgetting the name. पूड़ियाँ आज बच्चों ने बनाई हैं, right? What is it all about? It's about striking that emotional connect with your audience. So the moment you are into business, forget about, sorry, this is not the most correct way of saying, but that's how business is done. It's not about to be diplomatically correct here. It's about making your business successful, earning revenues. And that's one thing, trust me, again, don't quote me for this. This is what was taught to us in our initial days of MBA at Ahmedabad. We were told that इंडिया में हो तो पहले तो लॉस अच्छे से समझ लो, कितना टाइम लगता है ये समझ लो, उससे तुम कितना बिजनेस कर सकते हो पहले ये समझ लो, और हैंडल करने का टाइम क्या है. On the contrary, if you are playing in the foreign markets where the legal system is much faster, don't play with it. Sorry, I'm quoting a very wrong thing, but the moment you are doing a business, you need to be very practical. It's all about making your business successful, making your revenue grow. So that's where all these players that we are talking about, reading into the undercurrents in the market, is all required while you build your, let's come back to the point of your market plan. ये तो इसमें आगे आ गया टेक जिनी, यहाँ पे पीछे दिखा रहा है, हाँ, स्लो है. So build a marketing plan. Another thing, when we are talking about our market research and things, two of the frameworks that I would talk and share here, and a lot of you would be knowing, and SWOT is one of them, and the other would be, I'll just show you, the PEST. So we will talk about both these again, and in most of your pitch decks, in your grants application, most of you would be utilizing a SWOT analysis. We all do it. Now what is a SWOT? मेरा तो बहुत ही favorite है. So SWOT is like an acronym for strength, weakness, opportunities and threat. SWOT is always done for your own startup, your idea, or if you love it just like the way I do it for myself as well. That's the life coach. So know your strength, play onto it, work onto your weaknesses. So iska upar ka do parameter, if you would see, strength and weaknesses are the internal factors. These two are your own. The other two, opportunities and threats, are the external factors, जिस पे आपका control नहीं है. Now, when I talk about the SWOT, this is a place where you need to be devil's advocate. This is for your own benefit. Play on your strength. You know that, hey, I am tagged to an incubator. That is my strength. I would get all the resources because that is my strength. I would have the network. That is my strength. If I have an IP under me, that is my strength. If I have a strong tech guy, that is my strength, right? On the other hand, weaknesses. This is where I'm struggling. मेरी credit policy अच्छी नहीं है, मेरे cash outflows अच्छे नहीं, मेरे यहाँ attrition बहुत ज़्यादा है, I'm not getting the orders, or I don't have a digital presence, my IT is not working. Those could be my weaknesses. And I need to work on my weaknesses so that the next time, this is no more in this bucket. The ideal time to do a SWOT for a startup is once a quarter. Do it every quarter, and you should see a change from your previous SWOT analysis. Because if there is no change that's happening, you're not growing. Agar every time, every quarter, every 4 months, if you are doing a SWOT and it's coming the same, kuch to gadbad hai. Kuch to gadbad hai. Every time if your weakness is coming same, aap kaam nahi kar rahe ho. So work onto it, play on your strength, work on your weaknesses, try to convert this weakness into your strength area, the next or next to next, maximum dose cycle of your SWOT analysis. Do once each quarter. These are two internal, aapke haath mein hai, you can do it. The next two, opportunities and threats. What are they? Opportunities could be anything. Keep a tab of how the market is moving. Meet people, look for opportunities. Say for example, ye grant open ho raha hai. That could be an opportunity. Or somebody else is working on a similar kind of thing which can aid my project, my startup, my idea. Collaborate. There is a networking event happening. If I go there, I would meet more people. That's an opportunity. There is a chance of getting into some policy, some benefit, some supplier discount. That's an opportunity. But it's not my hand. It's an external thing which is happening, which I should keep my eye open. But I need to note it down. I need to say, acha, big grant opens up in Feb this year. I'll have it on my radar. Right? Big is the biotech ignition grant. Similarly, threats. ऐसे तो आपकी लाइफ में कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा, but this is that powerful red thing which spoils you. Say for example, सब कुछ perfect चल रहा है, you have it all, but you don't have a patent, you don't have a trademark, you don't have a copyright. कल किसी ने उस पे एक question mark डाल दिया, एक litigation डाल दिया, and it's all gone. You haven't followed up with your taxation, you haven't followed up with your compliance, you haven't followed up with simple things. Day-to-day life में कोई issues नहीं आ रही है, but the moment it pops up, it would ruin you. So have that on your radar and keep working and sorting it out. छोटी-छोटी चीजें होती है, time लगता है solve करने में, but it should be on your radar. It should not be off your radar. So do a SWOT analysis, and the moment you put it across on your whether it is a pitch deck or a grant proposal, it shows how deeply you understand your business, how deeply you understand how the market is moving. Nobody would question you, why is this a weakness? मुझे पता है, that means I know at the moment and I'm working on to it. If I say everything is perfect, इसे पता ही नहीं है. You know, nobody is perfect. If I know today, like I said, मैं सुबह walk पे जाने वाली थी और नहीं गई, I know that's my weakness area, मैं रोज बहाने बना रही हूँ. Or say for example, if I know that even if I'm not prepared, मैं कुछ भी आके बोल सकती हूँ, that's my strength area because I know the subject. So you need to know what is your strength, what is your weakness. Opportunities, say for example, I'm talking, Vijay gave me an opportunity to talk to you all. That's the opportunity. And threat to रोज बहुत आते हैं, क्या ही बताओ. So do this on a daily, on a quarterly basis, and put this across in your slides, in your pitch deck, in your grant proposal. This helps you a lot, and also definitely not for any other thing, to improve you on your startup idea. This would improve. So this is for your startup. This is for your idea. The next framework which I quickly touch base is the pestle analysis. So SWOT gives you a, you know, okay, not that jazzy to click, but yeah, that's fine. So SWOT gives you a more so idea about your startup, your idea. Pestle, on the other hand, is a framework which we use quite a lot in business consulting, and it talks about at the macro level picture, bigger scenario mein how things are playing, not what my product or service is doing, but how the outside environment is impacting. Life sciences या pharma background में there's a very interesting term as we call pharmacokinetics and pharmacogenomics. What the drug does to the body and what the body does to the drug. It's always two-way. No two things could, you know, say for example, one drug may work in a different manner on me and may work on a different manner on somebody with a different gene pool. So what the drug does to the body and what the body does to the drug, that's the difference. Similarly, we need to understand how the entire environment or the industry is playing. And to do that, to gauge that, we will do the pestle analysis. Now what is pestle? Again, this is also a very simple framework or an acronym, and it stands for P for political, economic, social, technological, environmental and legal analysis, right? Say for example, if you are doing a business, you are running a business, you would have to see what is the political support scenario or the background of the geography you are in. If there is a lot of unrest, bunds, dharnas, or political questions, or the policies which are not very supportive, आपकी आधी से अधिक एनर्जी तो वहीं चली जाएगी. A lot of us would remember some year back when Tatas were putting up their nano plant in West Bengal. A lot of agitation happened. They could have either, you know, fought back that agitation, but Tatas are, you know, they know how to do the business. कुछ नहीं किया, simply they shifted it all to Gujarat. Because the political environment there was supportive. It's all about the business. You have to pick the battles you want to fight. The battle was not there to prove that मेरी ideology सही है या गलत. I am here to do my business, I'll shift my business. That's what the political scenario analysis of the demography they wanted to apply helped them. Second, when we are doing a pestle analysis, we would also see the economic scenario or the demography of the population there. Say for example, if I launch a Audi showroom in a remote area where people don't even have a bike, will that fly? No, definitely it's a it's a recipe for failure. So you need to understand the economic buying power of the market. Also, who are the decision makers in that area. Say for example, again I'll move back to that same example of बच्चों ने पूड़ियाँ बनाई हैं. these days, we all know in small nuclear families, kids play a very important role in whatever you are trying to buy. So that's where the sentiment is being utilized in the marketing plan. Who has the say or the buying power or the economic power or the decision makers? For most of these things, again with no gender biases, insurance, bigger investments, these are something in most of the families is taken care of by men. Household things, health, food, grocery, these are the things where the females have the economic buy-in or the say. Say for example, post-corona, we all became our health experts. Sub nutritional mix वगैरह पीना शुरू कर दिया. So who was the one who was making that decision? Definitely all of us, the females, mothers, we were the ones who were deciding कि ये भी buy in करना है. So at that point, I was involved with one of the Nutri-Mix for these health drinks, and we built onto their planning. So how we distributed it. Where would you find those homemakers? Society group, WhatsApp group, forums, blogs, how to reach them. Because again, you would trust more on a word of mouth validation. If I come up and tell you, hey, this is what I used and this was helpful, you would buy that than a simple pamphlet. So that's where you need to identify the economic buying, the decision makers, and where to find them when you are building back your marketing plan. Similarly, do an analysis for the social or the demographic breakup. This is what I was talking about earlier. Which population segment? If we are targeting the youth, the kids, the old age, whether my social demography is a heterogeneous mix of people, homogeneous mix of people, उसमें किस तरह के लोग हैं? Because say for example, there are, in this room, we are mostly homogeneous mix. We are all females out here, right? So अगर यहाँ पे कोई एक female offspring का product launch अगर कर रहा है, that's something like they would find a lot of market here. I heard about some of those products that is being incubated here, and I was like, wow, this is a good start. So we need to also look into what is the social demographic mix of that population we are targeting in the geography. Technological, next technological, very interesting. This is, I feel is most acknowledged or understood. और इसका दो side है. The two sides when I say, first, if your product or service line is utilizing technical or technological platforms, see whether आपके, say for example, एक edutech software बनाया. आज तो सब remote working 2 साल में पहले पढ़ रहे थे. If I am targeting the rural population, वहाँ पे bandwidth है उतनी to run that software? Network का bandwidth है? Does the technology or the framework supports it? It's not about my product, whether the infra supports it. That's one. एक और example देती हूँ. Technological. We do a lot of e-commerce products these days. सब कुछ online दिख रहा है. We would say, I'll give you an example of my parents. Retired people, very well educated, retired professors, good, lots of money, lots of free time. They want to shop things online. Are they a good candidate for e-commerce site? No. They don't know, they don't trust, they don't have it in them to utilize that banking platforms. They are scared, they don't know. And trust me, मैं भी उन्हें नहीं करने देती हूँ. बता दो क्या चाहिए, मैं order कर देती हूँ. So even if they have it all with them, there is a technology gap that holds you from reaching those target audience. So either you need to work, educate them, or make it simpler for them. And that's where cash on delivery format is still being utilized. So do that analysis when you are doing the market or your target segment. Next, environmental. I'll go quickly. I have been getting those signals from outside. So environmental, yes. when you're trying to, I'll just wrap up. So when you're trying to work on building your market or your supplies or your costing, there are times you need to keep into mind that if you are putting up some cost or pricing or model, it may not be same for all the places. Your storage cost, your shelf life, your shipment cost would vary from a place which is a dry or which is a humid. So look into the environmental analysis of that place when you are expanding your business. And last but not the least, the legal framework or understanding of that geography you are applying in. There are small things. You cannot have a tobacco shop near a school or a colleges. You cannot have a liquor shop near this much radius of NH and n number of other those legalities. So be aware of the legal framework as well. That constitutes the entire pestle analysis or the market framework at the macro level, and we would use both this SWOT and pestle while doing our coming back to our or building how we are making our marketing plan. So all those bring it back to your marketing strategy that you are trying to build. Now up next, after your marketing strategy that you have built, next would come an operational plan. Operational plan, again, you can build in a very nice one slider kind of a model in a flow chart or an algorithm kind of a way, which would have the details of everything in a flow chart manner from the time you get an order to the time you deliver the product. Turnaround time kya, or the TAT as we call it, turnaround time, the moment you receive an order, by when you would respond to them, by when you would procure your things. Who is the SPOC or point of contact, single point of contact, who would be responsible for that act. So all those things put together in that slide where you know whom to reach out in case you are stuck or where you are losing out. This is like, you know, those nuts and bolts of the entire chart. So this should contain who are, you know, how will you produce your product, what are the quality controls that you are doing, who all are the personnel responsible, what is your inventory, what is your credit and suppliers policy. ये एक slide में बहुत अच्छे से in an algorithm or a flow chart manner you can build. This would also help you get back to the point that if I'm stuck, कुछ move नहीं कर रहा है, मेरे orders नहीं गए, क्यों नहीं गए, who is the point person responsible, I can hold. So this would help, and this you can build on your own. आपका business है, you would be knowing how to build this up very well. Next, definitely that's about the team size. We talked about this, you know, the core team and core founder and why do we prefer more than one founder. Again, in this slide, talk about each of your co-founders very well. Somebody who has a tech knowledge, somebody who comes across to understand the legal framework, the finances, or somebody who has already done a startup, or somebody who has come from a tech background, somebody who is an engineer, somebody who has done in management. Put those. Ideally, 2 to 3 people in a core team is a very stable co-founding team. So talk about them, put them across. एक slide में बहुत अच्छे से आ जाएगा. Moving towards the last segments of the pitch decks. Here, let's talk numbers now. Everything is all about, you know, numbers. We are doing that, right? This segment, this talks about your startup expense and capitalization. कितने पैसे आपने already लगाए हैं अपने startup में? If you yourself are not trusting your business or your idea with your money, why should I trust you? आप पैसे लगाने को तैयार नहीं हो, मैं क्यों लगाऊं? Very simple. And the moment I talk about money, it's not only in terms of currency, but also in terms of your own man hours, as I call it. Your time, your energy is also an important ingredient that you put across in your startup expense and capitalization. अगर आज आप ये अपना time नहीं दे रहे होते, you would have been working and earning somewhere else, right? So that is also getting into your startup capitalization. Don't say मैं free में कर रही हूँ, नहीं. Time is the currency that you guys are spending onto it. Put that across. So all the personal asset that you have used in the financing or building that product or your building of that product or service, and breakup of uses of capital required. Say for example, if you're asking, I need 1 CR, what for you need that 1 CR? Break it down. Do I need to hire people? Do I need to buy in the infrastructure? Do I need to build the marketing plan? Where do I need that expense? Put that across. Breakup of the use of the capitalization or the money that you are trying to ask. Last but not the least, the financial plan. This segment normally talks about all your cash flow projections, your break-even analysis, and your profit loss projections. We normally do it on a spreadsheet, build it in a PPT template, and include it. The last slide we talked about your startup expense and capitalization. यहाँ से pointers लेंगे. What are the breakup of uses of capital required? If I'm asking for 1 CR, whether the 20% of it would get into the marketing, the 30% into the staffing, the 10% into buying the infra, all those expenses would be put in here. Normally in a financial plan, we make a plan of around 5 years. 2, 3 and 5 years are the landmark years as we call them. पहला साल आप product ही बना रहे हो, so it's all the investment that is getting into it. Second year is when you start earning the revenues. Somewhere, if you are doing things correctly, somewhere between 2 to 3 years is when you would get closer to your break-even. And post that, that's where the 5 years we extend, is when you start scaling up, right? Scaling up and growth is different. Growth is when it's happening, you're investing and you're getting revenues. Scale is when you're on a finished product version, inputs आपके almost negligible है, but revenues बढ़ रहे. That is on a scale-up journey. So 5 years and beyond is when you would get into a scale-up motor. But prior to that, we would be building in a growth journey, right? So build your financial plan, expenses and everything, include that in a bit. And this is something which would require some inputs from somebody who understands the financials well, maybe a CA who would have helped you in your incorporation of the firm, or you know, we would have a lot of those intelligent number guys in incubators. They can help you do this. So that's what would comprise all your 8 segments of your pitch deck. So that brings me to the end of the slide, and hope I'm not much beyond my time. Perfect. So any questions? Let's open the floor for questions.
How many people are you financing?
Uh,
I'm just joking.
No, so I'll be again honest. That's the first thing I talked about.
Yeah.
So we all have our chosen sectors. Sectors जो मुझे समझ आते हैं जिसमें growth होता है. There are some players who are doing extremely well. कुछ डूबे भी हैं. I would not deny those.
Yeah.
But yes, my segment has always been into the life sciences, medtech, edutech, and IT side. That's what I understand well. Fintech मुझे ज़्यादा समझ नहीं आता. So I stay away from that. But yes, quite a few of them, they are doing good.
Good. Any other questions?
Part of your personal portfolio? Yes, that's part of my personal portfolio. Yes.
Are you also into advisory at PwC, or I'm sure that's more growth capital than anything
So
else?
at PwC, I lead a team. I'm a director with PwC into their strategy consulting vertical. And my team is called Insights Factory. We generate a lot of these competitive intelligence. That's where I talk deeply about the market research and those bits.
Awesome, thank you.
Any other questions, ladies?
Okay, go on, shoot.
I just want to know about your challenges which you might have faced during your journey.
Bang on, very nice question. I would love to answer that. So when I started, like most of you all, I was great with my ideas. I always thought, मैंने तो ये कर रखा है, मुझे तो आता है. But मुझे अपना business करने आता था, business plan बनाने आता था, business research or those things. I never knew what is compliance. I never knew the incorporation. Trust me, उस समय नया GST आया था. This was 2017, and I goofed up badly. Trust me, I'm being very honest with with my fellow women entrepreneurs. So my learning, my challenges were I I had to unlearn and then learn a lot of things on the compliance side. I knew how to do what is my product or the service line, but I lacked the knowledge of incorporations.
Also, I feel when you have an idea, everybody thinks the idea is great.
Absolutely.
Right? Nobody thinks the idea is not good. The
Right.
fact that you have an idea, you think, oh, I have a great idea. How do you differentiate? How do you know? I know all the things that you have given besides the SWOT and the pestles. What is it that, how does one guide oneself that, okay, this is not going to work or this is going to work?
Right. That's where we do the market testing or idea validation, as we call that. Does my idea have a business acumen? Is there enough market? Is there enough audience who would buy my idea? Not like, my mama would say, बेटा तुमने बड़ा great सोचा. हर माँ के लिए उसके बच्चे का idea बहुत अच्छा होता है. But वो market वो idea को अच्छा समझता है. Will there be enough people to buy in? So that's where we do a market validation. That's where we would look into कितने लोग हैं उस segment में आ रहे हैं, कितने लोग हैं जो वो market testing as we call it, go speak to the customer, understand their nuances, उनके pain point क्या हैं. Also, say for example, and that's what we call pharma industry में orphan drugs. Say for example, अगर वो 10 लाख में से एक बच्चे को हो रहा है, market size बहुत कम हो जाता है. कौन सी कंपनी उसमें रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट में इन्वेस्ट करेगी? There's no taker for it, even though that's a noble thing. That's where government has to intervene. So yes, get into the shoes. My idea is great. Do an idea validation. Do a market testing. Get to the market. That's where we always run a pilot. Basis the pilot inputs, tweak your product. Tweak your product to suit the market need. मुझे लगेगा मेरा बहुत सही है, but so when I started, when we started, we had a set of things that these are the services we would offer. Later, taking back from the market, we realized इससे ज़्यादा ये वाला services बिक रहा है. We tweaked and we realigned to suit that need. Market teaches you the best. Hope that answers. Yeah? More, yes.
Hi. So I'm Mahima. I wanted to ask that if the product is innovative, it is massy, and it has quality, but still, what are the 3 top reasons that businesses fail?
Marketing. Not able to reach to the, even if it is, you said it's massy, product is good, quality is good. If my audience doesn't need it, or they are not aware of it, lack of education, उन्हें पता ही नहीं कि ये भी होता है. That's one thing. So lack of marketing, that's the strongest thing. Marketing बहुत strong होनी चाहिए. Say for example, I'm just drawing a parallel. There are times बहुत अच्छी movie भी पिट जाती है, and there are times बहुत फालतू सी movie भी super hit हो जाती है. What is the differentiator? It's marketing. So marketing is very important. That's where I'm saying we have to cross that bridge from being an innovator to an entrepreneur. The business oriented. Spend on your marketing. Understand your customers. Yes, definitely. They understood what the market needs. Opportunity. Absolutely. Nothing was working. Netflix is another example. They started with renting out CDs. And look at them today. They listened to what the customer wanted. They tweaked it. So I remember Netflix से मैंने भी एक बार कभी CDs मंगाई थी. And look at it today. We are all glued to it. So yes. So that's what we learn from them. The market teaches you the most. So that's it. Yes, please.
Hi, ma'am. I'm Anuja.
Hey.
I want to know, you have the idea, you have done the validation, you've done the market testing. What is your pricing strategy or revenue generation strategy? Because mostly people have the ideas, but they fail in revenue generation.
Correct.
So what's your strategy?
You need to understand, that's what I started my pointers with. You need to understand which lane you are driving in. Who is your target audience? And the example I gave was you can get a shoe for 400 as well, for 4,000 as well, and for 40,000 as well. Who is your target audience? अपने lane को define करना होता है. I cannot say मैं सारे lane में दौड़ूंगी. I would fall. So identify your lane, look into what is the target market size, and then do your product pricing. Because if you are playing on volume, अगर मेरी profit margin कम भी है, and if it is a bigger market size, I'm able to capture. End में revenue or my profits are equally good. So that's the small thing you need to understand, which market size you are doing and what is the margin you can keep so that your profits remain intact. Right? Yeah, yeah. There are times when we bundle it and give it at a discount as well. We say that do lene pe is the same cost. So you need to again play with your marketing strategy, what strikes the audiences.
Thank you, ma'am. Sorry, in the interest of time, we'll leave all the questions offline. Thank you, Aprajita ma'am, for sharing such valuable information with our women founders. So now I would like to take the opportunity to call our woman founder, Ms. Shama Jha, CEO Wow Mom Foods, to share her entrepreneur journey with us. Please welcome her.
Thank you, Tulika. Thank you so much, especially the incubation. I'm very new to this place, but yet I feel as if I'm so old. I'm so much homely over here because in just few days I have got lots of support, and as I said, I feel home. And a special note to IWN CII. Very recently, because I am from Orissa, I have been awarded Shakti Award from IWN CII. So that was my recent award which I got. So coming back to myself, I'm Shama Jha from Millet Magic Foundation. Wow Mom Foods is my brand. And as it says, it's all about millet. It talks only and only about millet. So what Aprajita told right now, we have been working on all those aspects of the thing, and from there only the thing started. My background is, I am from a corporate background, 20 years into telecom and retail marketing. My last stint was with the Nexus Malls, that is the counterpart of Blackstone in India. So I had that marketing instinct towards the products, whatever we see. I saw the opportunity in millet because I am from Orissa. I saw Orissa Millet Mission was doing a lot in growing millet, but there was no way the processing can be done. And we, the women, the entrepreneurs, we need something which can come off the packet yet healthy. So that was the thought which went behind this. Thought came in, ideas was there, I had strategy plans. I didn't have money. I had an innovative idea. So there, network came with me. I was very good at networking, so I had, at least in Orissa, I was knowing people. So I started talking about it. I met people from MSME department, and I got to know Spurti project, about Spurti project in MSME, Government of India. And their innovative projects, especially if you have impact in it, can be funded. So we started creating the project because millet was something which was being grown in Orissa. We could easily think about that to be processed, and our thought was something which can reach us. And what should be the today's mom and today's lady who need for their household is a very easily cooked food, yet tasty, yet which can match the fast food market of India. And there we came with the products like noodles, millet pasta, millet cookies, snacks and savories for your morning time, for your evening time. So from there we started planning and creating it. At the same time, we were supposed to create impact because that was the need of that fund. So here, what we are right now, we are having, the product is there, Wow Mom Foods. We wanted to get into the biggest hypermarket retails, and that's why we planned the products for urban women, and the brand name was thought in that way only, Wow Mom. The mom should feel wow about it. At the same time, mom means magic of millet. So making the entire thing, we came with Wow Mom Foods. But there is one more side of this mom, that our factory is located in the hinterland of Orissa, in the tribal land of Mayurbhanj, where we have 70% women workforce, the tribal one, and all are from the farmer's family only. So right now our impact is like 3,000 people who are being impacted, about 1,000 families are there, and 18 villages we have touched. And all these products are made in a very high-end factory, but the operation is all done by the tribal people of that part of the Orissa. And as I said, women empowerment, 70% is tribal workforce. And what we say right now is that need of the hour is the healthy, tasty, fast food. But at the same time, need of the hour which we got and we could see the opportunity was the next year is International Year of Millet. So we started with it. At that time, it was not declared. But in this 7-8 months, we have tried creating our network from Orissa. We thought we'll go 1 year and explore Orissa. But with the International Year of Fear, we went slightly faster. We have been running around because we thought that this is the best time to go national and international as well. And that is... Yes, so right now I am here. We are going to expand nationally. And recently we have cracked with Reliance. We are coming up in 50 stores in Reliance across India. So that is what we call farm to fork and the healthy products of Wow Mom Foods. Yes. Right, ma'am. Yes, thankfully we are very, very closely associated with not only just state, but your central agriculture and MSME department also. State-wise, we are, Orissa Millet Mission is the state work which they are doing. We are working very closely with them. Mission Shakti is self-help group program. There also we are doing lots of capacity building along with, because they also need now how to connect market. So we are helping them very closely in that. And Orissa, so definitely, as I said, networking is very strong. At least in Orissa, everybody knows Wow Mom Foods. Government line knows Wow Mom Foods. Now we want nation to know Wow Mom Foods. That's where we are going. Thank you. Yes, I have some packets, ma'am. We had some over here. I've kept it there. Here we have few more. And we have our catalogs also there. Thank you, ma'am.
Wow, a true inspiration. Thank you, Shama ma'am, for sharing your journey with us. So now I would like to request Divya ma'am to take the session forward.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Aprajita. That was really amazing. Dr. Aparajita, I should be saying. And Shay, too, that was amazing experience sharing. It's a lot to learn and a lot to gain. Ojas and team, please, thank you so much. Aap log piche khade reh jaoge. I will call you for a photo with the whole team at the end. Now I'd like to invite Zia. She's our current chairperson for IWN, chairwoman for CIIWN. And this is where we thought that the education vertical comes in and we should do an event like this. Zia, over to you. She's doing a phenomenal job this year and doing a lot of good work.
Thank you so much, Divya, for giving this opportunity, and the team at Amity. Thank you so much, Dr. Prasad. It was an extremely interesting session, and I think we all learned a lot today. And thank you all for sharing your amazing stories. I think it's just wonderful. Yes, and I would like to give a small token of appreciation for you. You're most welcome. Maybe we can take a picture. Come in the center.
And then can I call everybody for a quick photo before we go for tea? Come here. Can we get everybody here for a photo? And okay, let's go. But if Mom Bhag bhi jana, please have tea. I request all of you to have tea, and I think Ojas has organized something. Ojas, please. With you, everybody, Ojas, all of you come. One quickly here, all of you, whatever you have organized. Okay, that's so Prajita, you get a lot of gifts. Wow! Thank you so much. Sham. And we have one for Zia too. Yeah, we have. Thank you, Shama. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. there's some small gifts for all of you, so please do take it. And we want to thank Zia too. Otis, why don't you come and thank Zia? Now it's on behalf of the team. Thank you. Please, I think let's go for a cup of tea. I'm sure everybody's on the same page. And Otis, where's the photo first?
At the reception, because there's an incubator backdrop there.
Yeah. Shall we do a quick photo with everybody?